Canadian Airbnb hosts are in big trouble. The government is cracking down on Airbnbs and hosts. Well, they can just lose their entire income. And it's not happening just in one spot in Canada. It happens all over in different cities, provinces, and even federally. So I decided to make a video dedicated to it. As an Airbnb host myself, and my livelihood depended on this short-term rental opportunity, I'm also worried about it. And I'm going to cover different provinces, different cities, different regulation, and a little bit even of tax things that you should know if you are planning to run your own or invest into your own Airbnb in Canada, guys. Now, what's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here, guys. Today's video is dedicated to Airbnb. So what is going on in BC right now? Well, their government has just introduced new legislation where, well, they have announced that they are going to ban short-term rentals unless it's your primary residence. So it means that no more vacation homes, no more investment properties specifically for Airbnb. They're trying to fight the housing unaffordability. Okay, so they are putting this new legislation in place to say that we'll make housing more affordable so that the short-term rentals would become potentially long-term rentals, and it's going to make your rent more affordable. Nobody cares as a landlord how you're going to be paying your mortgages or things like that. It's just like, yeah, no more short-term rental. If you're like in Vancouver and BC and you're trying to make some money out of it, they're trying to throw some more houses on the market. Now we are going to go back to the numbers, and now let's talk a little bit about Calgary and other places in Canada. Guys, in Calgary, starting January 2024, there is new legislation too. That's where I am. And it's going to strike me personally because I have like 4 rental units right now. One of them I already converted into long-term rental because, yeah, it's better like that. For me, I found a really good tenant, and you can actually make money really close to what Airbnb is paying anyways in that location. So, and it's too far driving for me to manage it anyways, so I put it on long-term rental. Now, what's happening to all my other rentals of Airbnbs in Calgary? Well, new legislation is like this. People were running Airbnbs and getting their license for short-term rental, which costs only $100, without permission of the condo boards. So people would go where the condo board doesn't want you to have an Airbnb, get the city license and run an Airbnb, because who cares on what condo board thinks anyways, right? Well, wrong. The city has introduced a new legislation where they would need a consent from the condo board. That's why I don't really recommend buying apartments for Airbnb specifically, because condo boards, they can change their opinions. There are multiple occasions where people purchase the property for Airbnb, and then condo board is like too much of noise, too much of nuisance. They vote, and you're no longer allowed to run your Airbnb. So I recommend buying detached houses for that. But they are also putting some things on detached houses as well. So if you have a basement suite, you used to be able to run an illegal basement suite. You got to get a license if the suite is not even legal. Now you'd have to legalize your basement suite in order for it to be on Airbnb. So it has to be according to the fire code. You would have to show, where your smoke detectors are, your fire emergency exits are, and more importantly, commercial insurance, or showing that your insurance actually covers your Airbnb in order for you to get your Airbnb license. On one side, it's bad, because it costs more money, way more money. On the other side, it's good because if your house burns down by your guest, at least you're covered by that insurance. Even though Airbnb provides an insurance, host assurance, which is like $1 million for liability and $1 million for damages, you might be covered by that. But anyhow, guys, now the federal government is also cracking down on Airbnbs. Again, I'm not going to be talking about Toronto in this video, guys. If you want, I'll make a separate video about it. But federal government is also cracking down on Airbnbs, where they are saying that you would not be able to claim your expenses on your taxes against your income. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Hey, guys, Airbnb is a business. You're like a business owner, right? So, and when you run a business, you buy bed sheets, Guys, I'll tell you how much money I spent for my Airbnb. The bed frames, the bed sheets, the linens, the pillows, the soap, detergent. I provide a breakfast too. Like I buy eggs, milk, I buy these hot dogs, and I buy cereals, and I buy coffee, tea, kettle to make it. I have a microwave there. You won't be able to write off your expenses. So how it normally works, like for example, guys, you do some renovations for your Airbnb, whatever thousands of dollars it costs you, plus your expenses, you can offset it against your income. Talk to your accountant. I'm not a CPA, I'm not your accountant, so please do not say Igor told me to do it this way. So talk to your accountant to know for sure what you can do with your Airbnb, because I don't want to be liable. Like you're going to be like, hey, Igor told me on his YouTube channel and then I didn't know it was wrong and something was right. Guys, I'm not a CPA or an accountant, so talk to your accountant. I have my own accountant doing my own taxes, and even that guy screws up on my taxes, so now I have to talk to him and say, hey, what the hell did you do? But anyways, that's a separate story. I still have to make a phone call to my accountant because, like, oh my goodness, guys, taxes in Canada is so complicated. I always hire somebody else to do my own taxes, and yeah, guys, it's another topic for a conversation, but you can write off a lot of expenses, guys, that are associated with running a business. For example, I'm a realtor. I can write off gas. I have a car for a family and I have a car for business. So that car that I ran for real estate specifically, meeting my clients, showing them properties, same with Airbnb. You have your own expenses associated with running your business. And then it's completely unfair that you cannot write off your expenses. So you'll be basically taxed on your entire income if you don't comply with your local legislation. So that means that the federal government is saying that if you run your Airbnb without a business license in Calgary, which is there are new rules for that now, on BC, which there are new rules now, in Toronto, which there are new rules right now, so you're not in compliance with legislation, you decided not to do that, and now you are going to have to pay all of your taxes. Now, I have to say, guys, I want to say, be honest with you, there are more than 90% of basement suites that in Calgary are illegal. You know why they're not legal? Because people don't want to get hold of the government. They are rented out, the tenants know they're illegal, the landlords know they're illegal, they're not declaring taxes on those. A lot of times, some of them do, some of them don't. But what I'm trying to say, guys, look at it this way. There is Airbnb, there is VRBO, there is Booking.com, there is other, there's gazillion platforms for short-term rentals right now that you can put your property on other platforms as well. And my personal thinking, what is probably going to happen is the government is actually going to push those hosts who are running those short-term rentals maybe off Airbnb platform, maybe into some other platforms that seriously doesn't even give a damn what the government of Canada thinks about, because they're not as big as Airbnb and they might be running their properties from those platforms, avoiding taxes completely. So, like, my biggest fear with this new legislation is that they are going to put those homeowners that are landlords, that are stressed out by the increasing interest rates, can barely afford any kind of payments, and their Airbnb is the only means for survival of that property to pay their mortgages and their expenses. They might be forced into the market where they might even avoid paying taxes at all. And that's what I'm afraid of. Now, guys, I also want to express my opinion on that. Before we go into that, I actually want to show you this insane post by the Canadian tax guy, and it's interesting to find out. So what he's saying on Reddit, not Reddit, on X, basically Twitter, so what he is saying there is that he's saying that if you run a short-term rental business, according to the tax, I'm not the tax guy, but he is, and he's saying, I don't know if he's right or not, you let me know in the comments down below if any of you are accountants in Canada. He's saying that you would have, if you purchase the property, let's say for $1 million, you might have to pay HST on it, which can end up in 13%, and if you're converting your short-term rental into long-term rental, which is from commercial into residential property, you might be on the hook for $130,000 in taxes because of these new changes. So these changes actually that are happening right now, going to be implemented next year, are forcing a lot of landlords into panic selling. They're selling their properties. They're breaking the mortgages. They're like, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work anymore in the future. I might have to get out of this situation because it causes that panic selling and other distress things. I'm thinking some people are going to sell their properties. Some people are going to get licensed. Other people are going to probably just get into the gray market where they're going to, black market, whatever it is. Just maybe they're not going to even declare that they're doing it on their tax returns because of this strict regulations. Now, guys, look at it this way. If you look at Airbnb in British Columbia, they literally have just over 16,000 Airbnbs running right now. That is less than 1.5% of total amount of housing available. Even if those 16%, 1.5% of 16,000 houses, homes, come, not houses, but homes, come to the market. That's like 1.5% of the entire thing. That's not even going to change the market significantly. But if you look at the bigger picture of this entire thing is, this is my opinion, guys, because I'm a small guy, I'm not a big guy, I'm not a hotel billion, trillion industry. I literally have a handful of Airbnbs myself. And, it looks to me like a hotel industry is pushing back. They might be lobbying the government, the elections. So there's a couple of things. Hotel billion industry lobbying against small people so that it doesn't hurt their bottom line and they can charge more monies. If there is no Airbnbs, an alternative to hotel industries for like short-term rentals, a small business cannot, they would go into those hotels and those hotels would be able to charge you more money. So the housing is going to be less affordable in terms of like come to a different city while you're searching for something else, while you're searching to rent a house, or while you're, searching for a job, or you're deciding whether you're coming from province to province, or you're shopping for a house to buy for yourself. That's a great opportunity. You would be forced to stay now in a hotel, and hotels would be able to charge you more money. I honestly, guys, think that if they are thinking really to go after small businesses, there are way more hotels that could be converted into condos. They could literally take entire hotels, entire businesses, and turn them into apartment buildings and have them like affordable housing kind of style. They could literally do that, but they wouldn't do that because, well, those people might have bigger pockets than smaller people, and they might potentially fund their campaign for election or not. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know, but that's just a guesstimate because literally it's a huge fancy word to make a housing more affordable. Is one point. As a realtor myself, as an EXP realtor in Calgary, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I can tell you guys, and plus I did masters in economics and a bunch of education, PMP certification, and like guys, I did too much of education. With all this education in business and economics and being in the real estate industry, I say 1.5% is not going to have a significant impact on housing affordability, but it's going to be a significant impact on those Canadians who have Airbnb as an option to somehow manage their payments that are if they had variable interest rates are totally out of control. It's crazy, guys. If you go to my Instagram or my TikTok, I published some videos. Some people are even burning down their homes for pre-construction where they are on the hook for $200,000-$300,000 and they have to come up with $200,000 more in order to be able to afford those houses in Toronto that they purchased before. It's insane what's going on, and really nobody really cares. And what our government is trying to do, they're like, hey, if you are a tenant and you can afford the real estate, can afford buy a house, hey, we are going to be targeting as much in Airbnbs so that your rents potentially with more properties on the market would go down. But the amount, to be honest with you, the amount is so insignificant that I think it would have hardly any effect on the housing affordability. And honestly, it only plays better for the hotels. And from my perspective, guys, I have multiple Airbnbs in Calgary, and I am actually considering to go long-term rent of myself. Like, not because of Calgary legislation. Calgary legislation is so simple. Even next year, I'll still be having all my business licenses in place. No problem. I'll make sure everything is compliant with their new requirements. And honestly, I'm going to renew my licenses by December, so I don't have to worry about January, because by the time it expires, I'll have everything in check to make sure that the licenses are still extended and everything is going to work fine in Calgary. But overall, guys, a general picture is that the rents in Calgary are so expensive that Airbnb makes more money but it's so insignificant. And honestly, guys, Airbnb is like managing your own hotel. You have to do your own repairs. You have to be managing your guests, check-in, check-out, maintenance, cleaning, supplies, everything. It's literally a hotel management. It is not a passive income by no means. In fact, I have so many Airbnbs, so it's almost like a job for me now, which doesn't pay that much. Honestly, it doesn't pay that much. It pays a lot, but every dollar counts. But honestly, like long-term rentals could be in the range of $300 or $600 a month difference versus Airbnb, and Airbnb requires so much of more work. Honestly, I just converted one of my Airbnbs into long-term tenancy, and I'm almost not losing any money with it being long-term rentals versus being short-term rental, because we did it as a furnished long-term rental. Anyways, so that is kind of what I wanted to bring up with you guys. What do you think? The new legislation, is it a Hotel Monopoly Act, or is it lobbied by the government, by the hotel industry, or it's a populistic demand from Canadian government just to win another election to say, hey, we are fighting the housing unaffordability, or is it just like just a gimmick lobbied by the hotel, not caring about people, landlords that are paying for those properties that are barely making any money? And who even cares about those landlords? Who even cares about those people like myself who are over $1 million in debt in Canada, trying to make their ends meet like literally everybody else? Well, besides our government that is so rich that they are detached from the entire community. They don't even know what is happening because, they don't even cook their food by themselves. A lot of people in our government, because they are so rich, they are detached and they do not understand the needs, and they are lost touch with reality of common middle class Canadians. Anyways, guys, I'm not going into politics, but I'm just saying that it looks to me like that. Or I might be wrong. Leave a comment down below what you think about this entire topic. Are you excited that Airbnb host finally getting crushed, or the Airbnb getting crushed by the hotel industry, by the government, or like what do you think? What do you think? What are the implications for this? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Will it make any difference? And yeah, what do you think about it? See you guys in the next video. Subscribe. Bye for now.